Greetings, demons, and welcome to a discussion video, but also an update on a previous video. So, a few weeks ago, I made a video talking about how PlayStation, or Sony rather, were planning on closing a number of their online stores, this being the PSP store, the PS Vita store, and the PS3 store. And literally yesterday, the 19th of April, Sony put out a new blog post basically saying that's not happening anymore, and that they essentially have listened to us and realised it's not the best case to go with that right now, which it's a win, though that does come with a caveat. The PSP store is still going to be closed at the time it was supposed to. That's not changing, but the silver lining of that is everything that's on the PSP store is available on the PS Vita, and you can sideload it from the PS3 to the PSP, at least currently. That may be deactivated, but currently you are still able to put any PSP game back onto a PSP using a PS3, and at the end of the day, if you have a Vita, the Vita functions the exact same way as the PSP in terms of you can play all those games on it. In fact, I don't own a PSP anymore. I just use the PS Vita for all my PSP games. But the main thing that I was really upset about was that, especially with the PSP and PS Vita, the storage was proprietary, meaning that you had to get specific storage cards, SD card type things, made by Sony, specifically for the PSP and PS Vita, and they are not cheap or easy to find anymore, especially seems as both consoles have technically been discontinued. Well, I say technically, literally, they are no longer being produced. So it is ridiculously difficult to find these cards at a good price. So being expected to download every game that you own is just not realistic, especially when the card sizes weren't actually that big to begin with. If you're having some of the quote-unquote triple A's that go on those platforms, you can't really store them all on one card. You'd have to have multiple cards, and it's just not ideal. But, as I say, the Vita is going to be surviving this, along with the PS3, which does mean that all of the exclusives and other games that are only available on these platforms are going to stay available for the foreseeable future, and that's a really nice thing. I think it's good that Sony actually decided to listen, because they have a track record of just doing a lot of things that are a bit questionable when it comes to treating the players. You know, the players that they always say they put first, treating them in the right way. They're not always on point with that. And that actually brings us on to the other story that we have, and that is, it was found that within the PS4 and PS5, if the internal battery dies, you will no longer be able to access any digital media. I'll just give that a moment to set in. The PS4 and PS5, two consoles which, bear in mind, are very heavily incentivizing digital downloads, will not let you play a game if the battery dies. This is an issue that we had back with the Game Boy. How is this still an issue now? Now, I'm not going to pretend that I'm all too knowledgeable on this subject. I'm not a tech person in the terms of, I don't really understand why a modern console requires a battery, but at the end of the day, I understand that it is used for things like keeping time. In the event of a power outage, consoles are able to maintain keeping time using an internal battery, and that is also usually the reason why they have them. But why does that then cause digital games to not be able to be updated or work at all if it dies? And obviously, this is a future-proofing issue. It's not a case where, oh no, PS4s and PS5s are dying right now because their batteries have stopped working. It's not the case, and fortunately, with both the PS4 and PS5, the battery is easily replaced, though that could cause issues down the line if the batteries becomes more scarce, or alternatively, if it turns out that replacing the battery is actually more harmful than good. A lot of people have tested whether you can just remove it for now and then find a workaround. I believe some people are working on finding a workaround right now. As I say, I'm not someone who follows this too closely. It's just something that, as someone who very much cares about the future-proofing of consoles, being able to play games of all generations far into the future, someone who collects games both physically and digitally, and collects consoles, it's a scary aspect of these modern consoles that something as simple as a battery dying could literally kill your console and prevent it from being used correctly. Now, hopefully this gets resolved in some way. It sounds like it could be resolved with a patch on Sony's side. If they send out a patch that basically takes away the requirement for this battery to be active, it could solve all the issues. I'm not a software person either. I can build a PC, I can, do a lot of technical stuff with software. I'm never someone who really understands how to make things in terms of, console hardware or console software, stuff like that. So I don't really know how it works, but it does seem a lot of people that are much more knowledgeable on this subject than I am believe that Sony could send out a patch to fix this. And especially, it's scary enough that it's happening to the PS4. The fact that this same issue is apparently there for the PS5, which is a console that literally released less than a year ago, it's not ideal. It's definitely possible that we'll have a revision of the PS5, which could definitely help out. It's still very early in the PS5's lifespan. The PS5 Slim, or whatever they want to call it, could very well remove the need for a battery altogether. That is definitely possible, or find some sort of alternative that can't have this issue. But in the meantime, just be aware that at any moment this battery could die and you may have a bricked console, essentially. As I say, it is definitely fixable in the long term, but right now we don't know of any permanent fixes. So it's a bit of an awkward minefield right now when it comes to the PS4 overall, but on the bright side, at least your PS3 and PS Vita are going to be playable for a very long time. And on that note, thanks for watching, like, subscribe, tell me what you think of this story in the description below. That's not correct. In the comments below, I do that a lot. But yeah, if you liked the video, make sure to like it, subscribe if you're new around here. I'm not doing daily videos anymore, though it looks like I am. I'm just doing videos whenever I get the time. And otherwise, Let's Plays are going up just as normal, as well as the Fortnite weeklies. But otherwise, yeah, that's it for the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye!
Lunar rainbow flag, happy pride, rabbit with facts. Streamer let's play, they them out like dinosaurs. FNAFN, troll, not the leader of a cult. Rabbit with sax, it's Lunar.